What's your favorite question to ask someone to get to know them better? Can I touch your genitals? What's made you happy in the last month? I like to ask what people's favorite food is. Even as a complete non sequitur, it's a good conversation starter. Everyone has a favorite food, it's innocent but very personal, and there's usually a story or insight into their background/culture behind it. What is your worst childhood trauma? If they don't get all whitey uptighty about it and their answer isn't boring, then they go to the next round. Do you come here often? So I make statements rather than quests, and you'd be surprised how much more people open up over innocuous questions. Like saying you seem adventurous rather than asking are you adventurous will get people to open up a lot. So take any of these questions you see, and if you ask people, make them statements over questions, and you'll be shocked at the result. What do you consider one of your most defining characteristics? What is something you're looking forward to? What is one of the most challenging things you have overcome? Can be heavy, should use with caution. Do you have any useless skills? I can walk on my knees and sorta flap my lower rib cage. Edited to add, could you tell me a little vignette or short story from your life? I actually use this one pretty frequently, mainly with my partner. We call these exchanges #StupidStorytime because they're usually brief, ordinary slices of our day that have little to no significance, but were maybe a little funny or odd, or perhaps reminded us of another experience or memory. It's a nice way to talk about our day-to-day without getting stuck in a routine of the plain "how was your day?" And if we realize we started sorta rambling, or the vignette doesn't really have a clean end, we cap it off with "so, yeah, stupid story time, 2 hearts. You heard about Pluto? If you were to be stranded on an island, what 3 items would you bring? What do you do for fun? What would you do if money wasn't an issue? Rectal or nasal thermometer? Do I know you? So what's your story? If they like Darkwood, Hollow Knight, or Night in the Woods games, has actually served me well in practice. What's the weirdest thing that happened in your hometown? Tell me a funny story. Pronouns? Thoughts on gay/trans rights? The answer to the second one will determine whether I even want to get to know them. Have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis? If you could have a superpower, what would it be? I spent a lot of time thinking about this question when I was a kid. What bands were you obsessed with in high school? Did you ever hear about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Tell me about a time you were embarrassed. Who's your favorite Spice Girl? How about them Dodgers? If they have an answer, cool. Tell me about baseball. If they don't have an answer, nope. Me neither. What do you want to talk about? In interviews I ask applicants what their favorite project was, why they enjoyed it, and what they learned from it. My go-to is what is your favorite movie? I've found this to be a reasonable representation of who people are. Not a complete assessment, but I can get a decent read on people based on how they answer. What, in your opinion, is a perfect album? For me, August and everything after, Counting Crows. Or England Keep My Bones, Frank Turner. Who would you bring back from the past to spend a day talking to, and why? I like to ask whether they had any regrets in life or anything they would like to change. How is it going? This is a good one because how they reply gives you a good idea as to how they operate and what their personality is like. What's a small decision you made that had outsized consequences? I've gotten some really great answers to this. One person said that the socks she wore one day got her best friend. If you want them to not want to get to know you better, try have you heard of MBTI? Works like a charm. How about that president? What books have you read lately? My favorite is kinda fucked up. I call it the Walmart game. You're at a store where you can buy anything the world has to offer. You're limited to only purchasing 3 items. What 3 items do you get to creep out the cashier? I always give the example of a chair, a ceiling fan, and a rope. What do you enjoy? My best friends always ask random people online in games what's your favorite McDonald's sauce? Who else is socially awkward and clicked on this to get good ideas from the comments? What kind of woman is your type? I suggest you ask if they ever met a black-gloved six-fingered man. What is something you're proud of but don't get to brag about much? Edit, spelling. If you could listen to only one band/musician for the rest of your life, who would it be? How would you describe your last bowel movement? Spit or swallow? Not just what do you do for fun, but a less generic what do you and your friends do for fun? Because I want to know that you can maintain steady relationships, and you know how to pursue your passions and enjoy yourself. Sometimes it do be like that. What would you do if you won the lottery? Pancakes or waffles? What is your aspiration in life? Do you pee in swimming pools? A study found that a majority of people admit to it when told the survey is anonymous, but a much smaller percentage do when told their name is attached to it. So the response says a lot about the person answering. Also usually gets a laugh. You get your vaccine yet? What keeps you busy? What was for dinner last night? With who? When's the last time you did something for the first time? Is usually pretty good. Do you pronounce it GIF or GIF? I have a million of these. 1. Who would win a race between a pterodactyl and Pegasus? 2. If we removed political figures from money and put artists/actors/musicians on the bills/coins instead, who would you put on the $20? 3. If you learned you were going to live for 500 years, would you rather A. live 500 years into the future with a super slow Benjamin Button disease where you're getting younger each decade, or B. stay the same age you are now, but time moves in reverse? 4. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? 5. If you were ranked choice voting cheeses, which would you put in the number 2 place? Little deeper than first meetings, but I like to ask people if they liked where they grew up and if they ever see themselves moving back. What's your favorite root vegetable? On a similar vein, I try to ask what music have you been listening lately? Instead of what music do you like? Anything more specific rather than broad tends to work well. When you enter a grocery store, where's the first department you go to? This can reveal if someone has a distinct plan / is a person preferred to be prepared, or if they just wing it. It also reveals if they just carry their raw meat around the store to warm up for an hour like a psycho. What's something you're into that most people aren't? Finding out what offbeat interests people have is a really good way to find out who they are. It opens a lot of conversational paths. Oh, interesting, how did you get into opera? What is it about beatboxing that you find interesting? People love to talk about their hobbies, especially if it's niche and they don't often get the chance to. While walking along in desert sand, you suddenly look down and see a tortoise crawling toward you. You reach down and flip it over onto its back. The tortoise lies there, its belly baking in the hot sun, beating its legs, trying to turn itself over, but it cannot do so without your help. You are not helping. Why? What's your most significant physical scar/injury/wound, and what's the story behind it? What's your body count? Who lies more, men or women? What is your favorite gross food? Pretty cliche, but what are your favorite hobbies? What kind of music do you like? What do you use the internet for? I've never actually asked someone that, but a true answer would teach me a lot about the person. Please give me 5 words describing your father. Had a guy ask me, I'll eventually learn what you do for a living, but what do you do for fun? Favorite mythological creature? Ideal nacho toppings? Favorite dollar menu item at any fast food restaurant? I like to ask, what is the wildest and craziest thing you've seen on your job? What makes your heart beat faster? Wanna fuck? They are grilled chicken nuggets. In my experience, like 90% of people I've met have pooped their pants as an adult. I ask to hear that story. Always ends with everyone crying in laughter and all the ice is magically broken. Ralph Wiggum said it best when he asked Lisa, so, do you like stuff? If I'm feeling direct and want to cut the shit to get to know someone quickly, I ask the following questions all at the same time. So, what's your story? What's your deal? What are you into? Like I said, I ask them in a rapid-fire fashion / not waiting for responses, with this pose, man shrugging, but frenetically waving my hands, which signals that any of these questions are fair game and I really just want to know who they really are. Gets right to the heart of the matter. YMMV. With